introduce Mandeep. She's our attorney. She'll just talk about herself real quickly. Go ahead.
Hey guys, my name is Mandeep Kaur. I work a lot with the real estate company here. I'm a real estate attorney who's been doing this since 2001. I do buy, sell, everything. Any questions, because everybody wants to get out of here, I will be here throughout the whole thing, but I handle everything, real estate, commercial, rentals, anything that you guys have questions on, I'm gonna stay. I wanna rush this through, but even if it's not a deal that you guys are working with me, because of the relationship I have here, please feel free to call me, email me, I'll leave my card, say, hey, I have another file, what seems to be a problem, does this make sense? I'm here to go over title issues, anything that you guys have questions with, I'll be here. Keep it nice and short.
And I want to formally introduce David Upchurch. He came from North Carolina, right, David?
Yes. And I did not bring this cold, I promise you.
I mean, let me just introduce him to you guys. He's in the business from 1998. He was with Keller Williams, Remax. Then he opened up his own independence company about 2 to 3 years ago. He took his whole team to EXP. He's going to explain why he did that. His production, $60 million this year, 150 already closed. And he's looking to close about 180 deals. So he knows what I'm thinking too, and being a mastermind groups, and why he went into EXP. He actually told me about it. I was saying no. I said, no, David, I don't want to go. I'm happy. I'm independent. I'm good. And then I started talking to other brokers like myself and saying where the future is. So I want to introduce David Upchurch. David. David got this, I don't know, somebody was here last night, he got this thing working this time.
Just don't bump that tape. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Again, I did not bring this cold. It's warmer in Charlotte than it is here today. Everybody keeps blaming me for this, and I promise you it was not me. So just a real quick background on kind of me. Got into business in '98, and I've worked for small independent firms. I've worked for Remax, KW, owned my own independent firm, and when I left KW in the end of 15 and opened up my own, went independent, my goal was to sell 100 homes. That was my goal for my small team that I had. And in 2017, we did 114, and we're on pace. We'll probably close between 180 to 185 this year alone. So when EXP was introduced to me, actually the first time it was introduced to me was in 2015 when I was leaving KW and opening up my own independent firm. And I did this. La 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 la. I don't want to hear it. I've already made my decision. I'm leaving a franchise, KW, and I'm going out and I'm opening my own. And the main reason I was doing that was because I had been in the business for 20 years and I was tired. Right? I was tired. Starting to get a little bit older, 47, and I started kind of looking at what am I going to be doing in 10 years, 15 years from now, and just looking around the KW office, I was seeing agents in there in their 70s. One sweetest lady you'll ever meet, and I know everybody says that this woman is literally the sweetest lady you'll ever meet. She was 82 years old, and she was still selling. Good for her. I didn't want to do that. I just didn't, right? I love this business. I just don't love it that much. So I opened up my own independent firm to be able to potentially slow down a little bit, right? Because I said everybody in this room is going to sell their last house eventually. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's in a year, maybe it's in 20 years from now, but eventually we're going to sell our last house. And once we sell our last house, we're unemployed. We don't have any money coming in from the real estate business unless you own your own brokerage. So hence why I opened up my own brokerage. And then EXP was introduced to me again towards the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, and we just hit our 114 sales in 17, and I almost kind of didn't want to listen again, but I started seeing a lot of agents across the country that I had a lot of respect for that either were big teams doing major production. We're talking 500 homes. I mean, one guy does 1,200 homes a year. I can't even wrap my head around 1,200 homes a year.
Himself or?
Now, he's got a team. Obviously, he's got a big team. I mean, even I, listen, and I'll tell you this, anybody that tells you that they sell more than, say, 70, 75 homes, they have a team. They have a team. It's not them, right? Because I always say that you're doing 50, it depends on where you're at, too. But if you're doing 50, 60 deals a year and you're a single agent, you don't have a life. Your life is real estate. So what I was doing was I was trying to create a business so I could slow down a little bit. And then when EXP was introduced to me for the second time, I started listening a lot more and doing my own research and digging into why are these other agents doing this that own these independent firms and these big firms and these big teams. And what I found for me was it would also help my agents that help me get to where our 185 sales. So I've got 3 major agents that work for me, Laura, Tammy, and Dawn, and they are the reason we're selling 185 homes. I mean, they do the majority of the appointments and all that. So I want to be able to bring them and give them an opportunity. They don't own a part of my brokerage. They don't. So if they were to retire or to quit the real estate business, they don't have any other income. I would just replace them. So my business would continue to go. I would just change those agents out. And that felt really terrible to me. To think of an agent that is going to do $12 million a year every single year for the last 4 years with me and help me grow my company, to just say, hey, really appreciate, pat on the back, appreciate all the work you did, you're done. So what EXP has done is it given them the same opportunities that it's given them. So real quick, this is the things we're going to talk about. What is EXP? Who are we? Why has there been explosive growth all over the country? By far the fastest growing real estate company in the history of real estate companies. Not even close. What's the business model look like? What's the commission plan look like? What's the technology that they provide to help you guys individually sell more homes every year? What is the EXP world? How do you get support and training? Revenue share versus profit share and stock options. And then how do you join EXP if you're interested? So let's start with who we are. So Glenn Sanford was the actual guy that created this in 2009. He was Gary Keller's right-hand man for a long time. He went to Gary in, I think it was 2006 or 2007, and said, hey, I have this idea where I think KW should go. We should go to get rid of these big brick and mortar, these offices that we're paying $1 billion a year for in rent all over the world, and let's go more virtual. Because we know that 96% or something like that of agents don't go to the office every day anyway. So let's get rid of this huge overhead and be able to supply more to our agents and give more of the commission that you guys are earning back. And Gary Keller said, no, I think we're good. We'll continue to what we're doing. It's not broke, we're growing. And he said, okay, no problem. So he went out and just opened his own EXP Realty. So EXP is an agent-owned business. So they take individual brokerages or individual agents and let you run your business. But you're attached to an international company. So I still own my own independent company, Data That Church Real Estate. That's the name of it. We're just powered by EXP. Okay? So I always say, somebody asked me the other day, will you shut your company down? And I'm like, no way am I shutting my company down. I've spent too much money on branding that company and making a name for itself. I don't want to get rid of that name. And EXP allows me to just basically piggyback off of what they're doing, and it made my brokerage better because they have things that I can't provide my agents, being a small independent firm. So explosive growth. So around 2015, they created something that really took the trajectory way up. Okay, so start right now. We're just under 16,000 agents, and as you can see, 2 years ago we were less than 2,500 agents. Okay, about 50 people a day are onboarding. There's 3,700 agents right now that are in line to onboard onto EXP. So very soon we'll have close to 20,000 agents and growing. So here's kind of the timeline. So here's what took place in 2015. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, kind of chugging along a little bit, but they weren't real happy with the explosive growth. So they come up with this idea that's called the icon agent. They figured if we can get major iconic agents across the country to leave the companies that they love or the companies that they built and partner with EXP, we believe that the individual agents will want to do the same. And that works perfectly for me, because in 2016, when it was 2015, when it was introduced to me, I cluttered my ears, didn't want to hear about it. But then in 2018, I started seeing all these big major players go, and it opened my ears a little bit. So it actually worked to get my attention as well. And I'll explain what that icon agent is here in a second. And then in 2018, we actually hit the NASDAQ. So we are a publicly traded company. You can purchase it tomorrow. My father-in-law purchased some when I told him I was taking my company over to EXPI. He's like, listen, if you believe in this company, I'm going to buy some stock. I need to find out how much he bought to find out how much he trusts me, I guess. But I do know that he bought some. So you can purchase it, but publicly traded, right? So what's the business model look like? So we all know the Blockbuster Netflix story, right? Blockbuster was the Goliath in the movie rental business. And then Netflix came along, had this idea of making it digital. And a lot of people at the time said that will never work. Think about how foolish that sounds now, right? I mean, now we try to stream something and it's buffering and we get mad. So we know how that works. And then Amazon came along and they said, you know what? Let's kind of do something similar to all these brick and mortar businesses. I think Sears just filed bankruptcy and is shutting down a bunch of stores. Kmart, I mean, you know, if you're in your 40s, who doesn't love Kmart, right? So the thing that these two companies I think have in common, and what these two have in common, they have brick and mortar locations. These guys don't. It's really the only difference. They supply movies. They supply movies. They sell stuff. They sell stuff. The concept is exactly the same. The only difference is the brick and mortar. Consumers would, I'm ashamed to say it, I've been in Target and scanned something on Amazon and then purchased it and walked out of Target. It's a terrible feeling, but we all do it, right? So what EXP is trying to do is something very similar in the real estate business. We know from history that most agents don't go to the office every day and work out of the office. We also know that most clients don't want to come to our office. So why have $1 billion a year in rent? Why not have any rent and be able to supply a lot more back to the agents that are actually doing the business? Okay? So we always say we are the Amazon of real estate. So compensation plan starts at an 80-20 split. Okay. You do have a $25 transaction broker review fee on every transaction. So you actually have an EXP, a person that works for EXP that's going to look at your file, make sure that the seller signed on page 4 and that you've got this document and that document. So they're going to review everything for you and let you know if you're missing anything. And then there is a $40 E&O fee for every transaction until you paid in $500 for E&O insurance. The most you'll pay for a year on E&O is $500. So after about 10, 12 deals, that 40 will stop. Okay? And then it caps at $16,000. Who in here does not know what a cap is? I should have not asked that one, because the people that don't know will not raise their hand.
I don't know what a cap
That was a terrible question.
Nobody knows.
Thank you for being brave. As soon as I said it, I'm like, that was a terrible way to phrase that question. Because nobody's going to admit they don't know what it is. Thank you. A cap is where the company that you work for, and I'll tell you the company that created this. The company that created this was Keller Williams. Keller Williams was the very first real estate company in the real estate world to create a cap, where they say, we're going to take a split from you until you've paid in so much money, and then we're just going to give you 100%. So the cap is, and with KW, it depends on what office you work at. So I'll tell you, in Charlotte, we have about 7 KW offices. The most common is $22,000. Now, every single person in the company has to pay $3,000 to KW International as a franchise fee. So for me, when I was at KW, that's $25,000 that I was paying to KW, and then I got 100% of my commission moving forward. Okay. They took over Remax. Remax was the largest until KW kind of came in. KW did a couple of things that really revolutionized the business. One was the capping system, and then they introduced profit share, where they were actually going to give money back to the agents that were helping them grow their own independent franchise. Because KW, every office is independently owned and operated. Okay, that's why you have different caps in different parts of the state, parts of the city. I mean, there's some places in Charlotte that has a $25,000 cap plus the $3,000. Here, I've heard as high as $35,000 plus the $3,000. So it really depends on, you know. But the cap means they're going to stop collecting that 20%, that percentage, and start giving you 100% commission. Okay? No other real estate company that I know gives stock to their agents for doing things that you already do. Okay? So I want to let you guys know, it's going to sound like I'm making fun of KW. I promise you I'm not. KW, for me, really helped me look at this job as a business. And it's really helped me a ton. And I jokingly say they're still the second best real estate company out there. Okay? But the reason I say that is because when I capped at KW, I literally got a hat that said capper. Not joking. Got a hat that said capper. Who's going to wear that hat first of all? Okay? At EXP, they give me stock in the company. I'll take that stock over a hat that says capper any day and all day. Okay? So we'll go over the 4 ways that you can earn it and the 2 ways that you can buy it. And then we're going to talk about revenue share and the difference between revenue share and profit share. Some people are not really going to care too much about this. Some people are going to go, holy smokes, this is unbelievable, and this is why I want to join EXP. Everybody should love this. It's free. We're just giving it to you. You know? Technology, so because they're not paying all that money in brick and mortar, they're able to provide a lot of technology. You can raise your hand if you've heard of Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Tiger Leads, Real Geeks, Sierra Interactive. They're basically real estate CRMs, okay? And Boomtown is probably the most common, and Commissions Inc., those are the 2 giants kind of in the business, and Conversion, which is actually KD Core now. Individually, they're about between $1,200 and $1,500 a month to own the platform. For that money, you get 0 leads. You just have the platform. And guess what? It's worth every penny. You cannot, now not everybody in this room wants to sell 100 homes a year, and I get that. But if you want to sell and you want to provide great customer service and you want to grow your business, you have to have some type of real estate CRM that's expensive. And it really honestly is worth every penny. What EXP is doing is they're giving every single agent KV Core for free. If you wanted to go right now, whatever office you're at right now, and say, oh, I want KV Core, you can go get KV Core. $1,000 up front and $600 a month. So you can still have it, but if you join EXP, you get the exact same system for free. Okay? So what is KV Core? It's basically a website. It's your website. Consumers go to our website to do what? Search for homes. That's all they care about, right? They just want to look for homes, right? But it's the back-end system that makes this website so powerful. It's what we do with those leads that come into our website. I mean, I won't ask you guys, but when I'm meeting with somebody individually, I will look at them and say, if I go to your website right now, and I'm looking at a house, and I put my name and phone number and email address and hit submit, or ask the agent a question or whatever, right? What happens to that lead? And I am astonished every single time when people say, I don't know. That is a problem. That's a problem for our industry, period, first of all, because consumers deserve better than that, right? But it's also bad for business. We need to be able to get back to these people, because when do they want it? They want it now. right? So this is a lead generation system that will help you generate those types of leads. You can do landing pages, squeeze pages, call captures. So you can have 15 listings and have 15 different numbers and writers that says text this number or text this to this number and get information about this house, and it will capture that person's information and start texting them and emailing them, and maybe not emailing, if it's a call capture, it's just going to have their phone number. It's going to start texting them and trying to get engaged with that client for you. While you're sitting here listening to me, my system is doing this for me, okay? Open house apps, CMA builders, a bunch of different stuff you can do to generate leads. But the most powerful thing is it has artificial intelligence to actually communicate with those clients while you're doing your daughter's dance recital. You're at a basketball game. You're here listening to me. You're at a closing. You're at a listing presentation. Those leads are coming in, and when do they want to talk to you? Now. This system will actually, believe it or not, start texting these people, and it looks like you're texting them. And once they respond, your phone will ding, it comes to you, and then you get to them when you can. So that's KV Core, and afterwards, I don't want to go in too deep, but I'll be here as well. You guys can ask more questions about that. SkySlope, the most two common are dotloop and SkySlope. Most people have heard of dotloop. Basically, this is how we communicate with our clients as far as offers and paperwork and signage. Just think of zip forms and DocuSign. But it's all in the palm of our hand. It's on our iPad, it's wherever we want. We're going to send documents to our clients, tag it, where we can have them sell it and sign it. We'll sign it. And then here is where EXP will kick in. The broker review for that $25 will kick in and make sure you have all the documents that you're supposed to have and everything is correct to stay compliant with the real estate commission. And then on the back end as well, you can go into your transaction and look at everything about your individual transaction. When it's closing, hasn't been paid yet. I mean, you can see it. So it's all completely transparent. And this is one of my favorite things to look at is the commission side of the closing, right? I always love getting the email saying the commission is being paid. We have what's called EXE Enterprise. The biggest thing about EXE Enterprise is a marketing center where you can go in and literally in 2 or 3 minutes create a postcard, a just listed door hanger, a just sold door hanger, an open house flyer. It's got hundreds and hundreds. You can get lost in the rabbit hole of looking at all the stuff that it will do for you. Here's just an example of one. Just listed. You can print these out. You can download them. You can actually send them to them to print for you for a fee. My thought is just PDF it and take it someplace else. It's a little cheaper to print. Signage. So here was my real estate sign when I was independent David F. Church Real Estate. Okay, so in 2015, 16, 17, that was my yard sign. This is my yard sign now. Does anybody see it? That says powered by eXp Realty. Now, in North Carolina Real Estate Commission says that the eXp sign has to be legible and on the sign somewhere. Some states, I don't know about here, but some states say that my logo and the brokerage logo has to be the same size. So make sure you're compliant with your state rules. But as you can see, I chose to go as small as possible because I have told people for years and years and years and years and years, if you are a realtor and whether you sold 0 homes or whether you sold 500 homes, you are a business owner. You might not be a successful business owner if you haven't sold any homes yet, but you're still a business owner. Stop marketing your broker. Stop marketing your broker. Your broker, you do not work for your broker. Your broker works for you. And we as an industry have to realize that. I tell my agents all the time, you do not work for me, I work for you. So I encourage everybody, you've got to start marketing yourself and thinking like a business owner. Now, if you want, you can go in the EXP route. I found this one online. I think this is a great little combo, right? She put her information, she put EXP, use those colors. But the thing that's really important is you can do whatever you want. EXP does not care. as long as you're compliant with your state laws. Okay? What is a cloud office? Because people tell us all the time, well, you don't have an office. And I'm like, that's not true. We do have an office. It just happens to be in the cloud, which is super weird. Super weird. Okay? So we create a little avatar. You get to make them look like you're 26 again, which is nice. I didn't have a heavier, gray-haired version, so I got to be 26 again. So I always say it's similar to Sims, right? If we haven't played it, we at least know what Sims is. You log into the computer, you walk around this little campus world, you walk into accounting, and your name is above your head. You remember? Let me get to it again. So your name is above your head, so when you walk into the accounting department, somebody goes, "Hey David, how can I help you?" You're like, that was kind of weird, right? And then you just ask the person the question. So here was, let's see if I can, hopefully this one. Okay, please take it. So you walk around the world. Come on, killing me. Okay, so you try to fix that while I tell about the world. So you literally walk around and you walk into a department and you ask them a question. The nice part about it is, good, stay there, don't move. I'll just tell them about it. They had a little video of how it worked. It's pretty cool, but can't see it.
And they can go on the world by themselves.
You go anytime you want. I mean, I'll even log in today after this and walk around a little bit and show anybody that wants to look at it. But the nice part about it is it's open Monday through Friday from 8 to 8. Now they're talking about going 7 days a week from 8 to 8. So I know when I was at other companies and when I owned my own company, when my agent needed something from accounting, if my gal wasn't there that cut checks, they would just email or text her and she would get back as quick as she could, right? With EXP, you have instant access to somebody from 8 to 8, Monday through Friday, and it looks like it's going to go every single day. So if you have a tech question, if you have an accounting question, if you have a transaction question, you have your own independent transaction coordinator, you can walk in and ask questions to anybody. There are over 200 employees that all work from home that are at your beck and call as soon as you walk into one of their departments. Okay? So let's talk about the training. So there is over 30 hours a week of training. You choose when you want to go to whatever training class you want to go to. What I love about the training with EXP versus other brokerages, and this was one of the things that made my brokerage better, right? So being a small brokerage, I didn't really have a great training program. I just didn't. I would literally have people come into my office because I've got a great location where I live. People would walk in and say, "Hey David, I'm about to get my license. I see you everywhere. I would love to come work for you guys." And I would literally turn them away and send them to KW. And the reason I would do that is because EXP didn't exist at the time. And two, I knew that I was going to disappoint them at some point. Because I knew that I could not give them what they wanted, which was hand-holding and training. My company was just not set up for it. And I would rather tell that person to go someplace that would benefit them than just have them come work for me and me disappoint them and not give them what they wanted. When I saw EXP, I thought, wait a second. Now I have the backing of, in my opinion, the best training in real estate. It's better than KW, it's better than RE/MAX. At least the places I've been, it's just better. And here's why. It's online. Okay? Here are just some of the training classes that I think everybody should go to. This is the way we used to train, or most of us still train. This is the way we train now. We log in, go into the world, we go to the auditorium, we sit down in one of the seats, and we watch this little guy present on his computer screen, and there's a little button. I'm going to get real fancy. Right there. You click that button, and it'll make his screen your full screen. You're hearing that person, he or she do the training. There's a little button down here that you can't see. It says